It was probably the most bizarre moment in the history of the Oscars. Shortly before Will Smith won the Oscar as Best Actor for the first time in his life, something happened that nobody expected. After presenter and comedian Chris Rock had made a casual joke about Will Smith's wife during the award ceremony, the latter stormed onto the stage completely unexpectedly and slapped the presenter with all his strength. At first, everyone thought the action was a stage scene, but when Will Smith started shouting loudly at the moderator and insulting him, everyone realized that the situation was bitterly serious and an awkward silence filled the room. Not even an hour later, Will Smith won his first Oscar and gave one of the craziest and most emotional acceptance speeches of all time, in which it became obvious that Will Smith obviously had a serious problem. Since then, numerous media outlets have reported about the scandalous, and it seems that Will Smith has ruined his image as the extroverted prince of Hollywood forever. But how could someone like Will Smith expose himself like that within just a few minutes? What is really behind his sudden outburst, and to what extent was it perhaps already foreseeable that Will Smith was doomed? In this video we tell you the shocking truth about Will Smith's dramatic downfall. So stay tuned here at Wonderlane. In order to understand the scandal surrounding Will Smith at the Oscars better, we first have to take a closer look at the situation, especially with regard to two details. First, the joke that the presenter Chris Rock made about Will Smith's wife Jada Pinkett Smith was not just some harmless joke. On the contrary, Rock was making fun of Smith's wife's bald head. However, this hairstyle has not been a voluntary decision of the actress. In fact, Jada Pinkett Smith suffers from a disease called alopecia, where you lose huge tufts of hair in all places. So Chris Rock's joke was clearly below the belt, making fun of a disease. Another important detail of the whole situation is that Will Smith even laughed heartily about this bad joke at the expense of his wife. Only when he noticed that Jada didn't find this joke funny at all, even rolled his eyes and felt hurt, the switch flipped for Will Smith and he went after Chris Rock. However, an inappropriate joke and his wife's hurt feelings are of course not yet a sufficient explanation for Will Smith's behavior, because there is much more behind it. One of the main reasons behind it is the relationship between Will Smith and his wife Jada. The couple provided in recent years namely again and again for violent negative headlines. In July 2020 it came out that Jada had had an affair with the rapper August Alsina during her marriage with Will Smith, a friend of her own son Jaden. Afterwards, it also turned out that Will Smith had cheated on her with several affairs before. In a TV interview together, the two then made it clear that their relationship had been problematic for a long time. Thus, it became obvious that the two had been living in a toxic relationship for years. In such insecure relationships, it often happens that partners take extreme measures to save their own relationships. For example, extreme reactions when their partners seem to be unhappy, like Will Smith after he noticed his wife's reaction. Therefore, it cannot be ruled out that Will Smith's reaction was primarily because he had the feeling that his wife would demand it of him. Another aspect that favored the excess of Will Smith lies in his personality. In the past, he has repeatedly attracted attention with his temperamental behavior. More than 10 years ago, he hit a reporter at a film premiere because he had come too close to him. In addition, he insulted several times other celebrities, and also otherwise he was accused again and again that he has some narcissistic character traits. For example, after his biography was published, which revealed some questionable actions of Smith. On the other hand, to Will Smith's relief, it must also be mentioned that he was in an extreme psychological situation at the Oscars. For weeks he had been considered the top favorite for the most important film prize and was about to experience the evening of his life. In this context, his acting colleague Denzel Washington appropriately told him to watch out, because in the highest moments one is most inclined to act cocky, megalomaniac and malicious. In his acceptance speech afterward, Smith also said that while he knows that being a Hollywood star also exposes you to hostility, he and his family have always suffered tremendously from harassment, rumors about them and contemptuous comments, a condition that would put almost anyone under enormous pressure in the long run. His mentally weakened state became clear in the further course of his acceptance speech, in which he spoke about his inner conflicts and about the fact that he actually only wants to protect his family and be a mediator of love. In addition, another theoretically possible explanation for Smith's actions should not remain unmentioned. Will Smith was awarded for his role as Richard Williams, and it is not unlikely that this role has also rubbed off on Will Smith. Richard Williams was a violent and extremely protective and aggressive and megalomaniac family man who had trained his daughters Serena and Venus Williams to the top of the tennis world with a lot of ambition. In fact, it has happened in the past with other actors that they got so involved in individual roles that they had a lasting effect on their personality. Isabel Adnani, for example, had to undergo years of therapy after her role in Possession, and it is also said that Heath Ledger's role as the Joker was his undoing. In his acceptance speech after the scandal, Will Smith himself noted that his behavior beforehand had astonishing similarities to his role as Richard Williams and apologized for the scandal to everyone present except, incidentally, Chris Rock. Despite this apology, Will Smith is probably the most controversial star in Hollywood at the moment, and it looks like the action will do lasting damage to his career, even if the concrete effects are not yet foreseeable, and it remains to be hoped that Smith and his image will recover from the scandal in the long run. On the other hand, a single slip should not be overestimated, especially since the outrage was not entirely unfounded. In addition, since the scandal, many discussions have been sparked about how far comedy can go, especially when it is directed against individuals or people with serious medical and psychological problems. However, Will Smith's case shows that you can lose your reputation in a matter of seconds, and that's just because of a single slip. And the example of him and Jada also shows how important it is to take care of healthy relationships. But do you think Chris Rock's joke went too far? What do you think about Will Smith's action, and should he be canceled now? We are curious about your comments. Otherwise, we have another interesting video for you, so check it out and see you next time here at Wonderlane.